There's something happening behind the scenes that will soon transform the world in such a radical way that most people will be shocked. Right now, the world seems like a hopeless place. We've been conditioned for so long to believe that we're limited and helpless. We've been told that peace is impossible, that poverty is unfixable, that disease is natural, that human suffering is inevitable. We've been lied to. We've been brainwashed to think that the only way to effect change is to fight the status quo, to take to the streets and protest, to rise up in anger. But that's a dead end that has never brought any lasting solution. Instead, something radically different has begun taking place and is gaining momentum. Certain individuals and groups of people have started remembering. They're remembering who they really are behind the illusion of physicality. They're remembering their divine nature. They're remembering that they're the superheroes and the saviors that they've been waiting for. And even though their numbers are relatively small, with their regained memories comes a power unlike anything the world has ever seen before. A power that will soon heal the entire world and set it free. This power is the power of consciousness, of divine light and love. And one person wielding this power can shine a light so bright that it literally transforms 5,000 people who are stuck in negativity and darkness. And far from being an abstract notion, this is being proven and measured. A scientifically controlled study led by German researchers at the University of Kassel has shown that while the average person's chest area emits only 20 photons of light per second, someone who is meditating on their heart and sending out love and light to others radiates a stunning 100,000 photons per second. That's 5,000 times more than the average person. And numerous studies have shown that when these photons are imbued with a loving and healing intention, their frequency and vibration rises to the point that they can literally change matter. They can heal disease and transform negative events. And when groups of meditators who emit light and love assemble, the effect is so exponential that the impact is truly staggering. Over the past 30 years, there have been 23 scientific studies on mass meditation, which have been carefully scrutinized by independent scholars and accepted for publication in leading peer-reviewed academic journals. In every case, the research has shown marked reductions in crime, terrorism, and war in their respective geographic areas and even globally. Stop and think about this mind-bending, reality-altering fact. It's showing us the way forward to real, lasting change, because the truth is that the underlying substratum of our entire world is simply energy. Change the energy by imbuing it with light and love, and the world has to change. In fact, that's the only way it will ever change, because all other seeming solutions work only on the surface level of matter, instead of the energetic blueprint that actually creates reality. And to change it, the time has to be now. Now is the time to join the army of light warriors that have been building across the globe. Now is the time to rediscover your true divine power and put it to use to change the world. Now is the time to stop waiting for saviors and instead to embody the truth that will set you and everyone else free. This army is not one that wages wars. It's not one that judges, condemns, and attacks. It's an army of heart-centered beings who use their divine power for the highest good of all, who stand up for goodness and freedom, not through anger and protest, but through embodying higher consciousness and sending out the transformative energy of light and love. And the world thinks they're crazy. It calls them naive idealists. It laughs at them. Yet this is the same world that has been raging with violence and war, poverty, and disease. So tell me, who are the sane ones? This is the same world that used to burn people at the stake if they thought empowering beliefs. It's the same world that has killed and tortured countless souls. And despite the efforts of so many with good intentions, it remains an insane world filled with atrocities Why is this so? Because good intentions aren't enough. The world cannot change by working merely on the physical front. The change needs to come from the underlying foundational and energetic front. That's why what's happening now is so different. Never before in our recorded history are so many souls waking up to the truth that we are beings of light who have the power to change our reality. And that's why this army will be the last army ever built. Because after our work is done, no other armies will be needed in the world. No wars will be raging. Peace will finally prevail. But this energetic battle is far from over. We can't simply spout empowering words and go on living as we used to. We need to do something. We need to send out the light every day to those we like and especially to those that we don't. We need to visualize the earth of our dreams every day. We need to sit in silence and meditate on the feelings of love and peace in our inner world every day. Even if only 5 or 10 minutes can be spared, we need to do it every day. Start with just 10 days to build the habit, and you can go from there for the rest of your life. Remember, your light can erase the negativity of 5,000 people who are stuck in lower consciousness. That's your power. No one can do this for us. It must be us. It must be you. And when you radiate this energy of higher consciousness, not only will our outer world start reflecting it, but your personal inner world will be enriched beyond measure. You will finally have the peace, the fulfillment, the abundance, and the joy that you've been seeking. In fact, this inner transformation is what causes the outer one. And so I call you now to join this army of light. I call you to let go of the limiting beliefs and conditioning that tells you you can't make a difference or that you have to fight for change in physical ways out there in the world. And I call you to take command of our collective destiny by committing to do this sacred work each and every day. Make time to meditate. Make time to visualize loving light pouring from your heart to the world. Make time to love and forgive and uplift every day. Your efforts are not in vain. Science has proven the stunning effects. Don't listen to your brothers and sisters who are still spiritually asleep when they tell you what you're doing is pointless. They need you to live your truth now more than ever. Together, we can do this. Together, we will transform the planet. Together, we will create heaven on earth.
Just yes or no, is there something that you're thinking of that has to do with a motorcycle or motorbike?
Yes.
It has to do with, is your wife with you?
Yes.
Interesting. Has to do with your wife as well. Did you propose to your wife on a motorbike?
Yes.
Give us some applause. Take a seat.
So, password to their cell phone. If your password to your cell phone is 4471, just yell out.
Somebody is thinking about the city of Westminster. Where is that person? Westminster. Right there in the front. Or near the front, right by you. Good. You can take your hands off your mouth now, it's okay. Pass the mic down, please. What? Is there a 4 in there?
Yes.
And a 6?
Yes.
Think of the street. Edro?
Oh my.
Is that Edro? Is it Edro Isle? Is that right?
Yes.
You are thinking about a very long series of numbers, am I correct?
Yes.
Is this a phone number, or what kind of number is this?
Delta Sky Miles.
The Delta Sky Mile number. You're just going to answer me after each digit. Are you ready? 2,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
1,
Yes.
0,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
3. That's the hesitation. Is it a 4? A 3, 4?
Yes.
7'9"?
Yes.
That's it? Good, give us some applause.
Bringing back the mentalist, Mr. Brent Webb.
Hello, everyone. It is 5 o'clock straight up on Sunday, and we're doing a live Q&A today. So if you're watching this live right now, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you have a question, drop it in the comment section, and I will get to it. I'm going to go over a few things today. For some reason, this week, so many people have been asking the same question, and it's, I'm fed up, and how do I start? I understand I need to start. How do I start? So I thought today I would give you guys some tips on how to start making those changes. You know, in order to make lasting change in your life, you have to get into your subconscious. It rules everything. And it was created when we were just kids. So we weren't mature, we weren't logical. And that's the rusty, out-of-date program that is running in our mind right now. So in order to make changes that stick, that last, you have to get in there and you've got to change the subconscious. You have to change your belief system. If you don't believe you're worthy, no matter what you do, you're never going to get what you want. You're always going to sabotage yourself. So today I'm going to give you some quick tips on how you can get started right now. It's Sunday, so why not start tomorrow? Monday's the perfect day, right? Make the move. Start moving in the direction of your dreams. You can have your dreams, but you have to have one. You have to know what that dream is. You have to have a destination. So I'm going to give you these tips. And again, if you're watching this now and you're here with me, we are live. It's about 5:02 Eastern Standard Time. So if you have a question, drop it into the comment box. I think I should be able to see it. There's one. It's Ty. Hey. If you have questions, just drop them in there. Okay, so I'm going to go over this. I wrote down some notes just so I wouldn't miss anything. Okay, how to get started. And I always say you can start in 10 minutes a day. And it's true. You don't need hours and hours a day of meditation. Don't make the same mistake I did. You know, when I first started and then I started to see results. So I meditated crazy amounts, hours and hours a day, which is ridiculous. And it's not necessary. So I'm going to show you how to do it 10 minutes a day. It's very easy to start. Tomorrow's Monday. Make it the first day. You want to jumpstart the next phase of your life. It's time. What are you waiting for? No matter what I post in the group, no matter what memes are in there, no matter what instruction, video trainings, it doesn't matter. Until you do something, it never works. It's just theory. That's all it's ever going to be for you until you make a move to make it work in your life. So you got to use the past and use the present to start shaping your future. Most of the time we're stuck in the past. We're worried about all the things we wish we could have changed. We wish we could have done differently. And we're obsessed over it. And what happens when that happens is we get pulled into the past, the unchangeable past, and we get pulled out of the present, where really the only time we can make any change. So you got to use the past and the present to predict, to manifest your future. So I'm going to give you some ideas about helping you with your life to connect you with your achievements, to connect you with where you're going. Challenging you, it's important. You have to learn from your mistakes. You have to take them, you have to learn from them, and you have to move forward. You can't punish yourself. We're the only species that punishes ourselves over and over and over for the same thing. You know, somebody cheats on us, somebody does us wrong, and we forgive them, or we don't. But if most of the time we forgive them, right? But then every time they do anything that upsets us, what do we bring up again, right? We bring up the worst thing that they've done to us. So the person never is really forgiven, because every time you get pissed, you bring up the thing, right? You bring that up. So it's important. You have to learn from your mistakes. You got to let them go. But you have to learn from them. You don't have to be upset by them. You don't have to wish you didn't have them. That's all wasted energy. So you have to develop an invaluable sense of ability to take it to the next level, because that's what it's going to take. So in order to do that, this is what I always say. I just said it. You have to know where you're going. You have to be able to create a goal. And I'm talking about a vibrant goal that you can feel inside. When you think about it, you need to be able to feel it, because feeling is everything. Without the feeling, we have 60,000 thoughts every single day. Think about it, 60,000 thoughts. But any thought that is tied to emotion is 10,000 times stronger. Okay? Most of the time, we have our negative emotions. We have things we don't want. We have the thing we're so afraid we're going to get. And that's what we start to manifest in our life. So you have to create that vibrant vision, and you have to start creating real goals, not daydream, not I wish I had this. I want to be rich. I want this. I want that. You have to actually have a goal, and you have to believe that you can have it. You have to believe you're good enough to have it. You have to believe that you're worthy to have it. You know, my dad worked at Ford Motor Company his whole career. You know, he was one of those people, you know, we always had Fords, always. And if you have to know where you're going. It's like being in a car with a GPS. You know, without a GPS, you get in, you just drive. You have no idea where you're going. You have to have that goal in mind. So it's important to start thinking big, and you're going to create that vibrant vision for your future. Whatever it is that you want, you need to be able to visualize it in your head. You have to see the end game. It's not necessary. In fact, it's counterproductive if you start worrying about how you're going to get there, because then it pulls you out of it and you start going, okay, this has to happen, that has to happen, and it's not going to happen. So you have to let that go. You have to see the end result, what you want. You have to feel it like you have it, and then you have to let it go. It's the only way that it works. So it's important to connect with your dreams, to clarify the intended outcome. What is it exactly that you want? Do you know? So if you don't, a great thing to do right now before you start tomorrow is to just write down what it is that you want. Write down what you see for yourself in 5 years. How exactly are you going to be? You want to be able to read that paragraph and conjure up the feelings inside you. So it's important to build the right foundation, because without that, it doesn't matter what you build. It doesn't matter what you do, because it's never going to stand up. It's got to have that strong base. So to do that, a great way to boost your energy is to surround yourself with people that believe in your dreams, that have accomplished their own dreams. The 5 people that you're around the most are the people that you're like. And that's a horrifying thought for some people. If the people that you're around don't believe that you can do it, tell you all the time you can't do it, it's time to look for a new friend group. Because if you don't have that support, it's going to be much, much harder. Okay? You have to have a strong power base. And from that base, you're going to launch the next phase of your life. So you're going to commit right now, before you start tomorrow. I want you to commit today to just making some small changes in your habits. These little things will start to change your belief pattern, and those patterns will release to you the life force energy you need to make changes in your life. Every time you go through something, you work through it, the energy that you use to hold that inside you, the willpower that took, becomes available for you to use again, and it comes back to you. We only have a certain amount of life force energy. And when you've got it spread over 1,000 things that you're holding inside, I don't like snakes, I don't like spiders, I don't like my ex-girlfriend, I don't like this, that. It all takes pieces of your energy to hold those things inside. So the first thing you need to do is spring clean your life. If you want something new, you got to make room for it. You wouldn't go out and buy a new bed if you didn't take your old bed out of your bedroom, because what are you going to do? And that's what we do. We just keep piling shit in like an episode of Hoarders, and we just keep throwing crap in there. You have to make some room in your life for the things that you want. If you don't, you're not going to get them. So that's important. Declutter, simplify, streamline your life. If you're the kind of person that has messy closets and everything is a mess in your life, tackle that first. Make room in your life for the things that you want. I mean, it sounds obvious, but I didn't know that 10 years ago. You don't understand the steps. I didn't. And until you know them, it's easy once you know the steps. But if you don't, you're just in the dark all the time. You have no idea where you're going. So as you take action, you're going to start to be empowered to clean, spring clean, we'll call it, your life. It's also important to remember, sometimes you got to say no. You say no when you need to. You clean up your past. Don't be the kind of person that agrees with everyone just to agree with them, just to not rock the boat. Stand in your power. Take your confidence. That confidence becomes magnetism. That's the thing when you see somebody walk in and you go, oh, that person's so magnetic. It's that feeling of self-love, that belief in yourself. That's the difference. Self-confidence, some people have an abundance of self-confidence that shouldn't have it, that has no reason to have it, and they're delusional. So you can have self-confidence and still not, be a magnetic personality, to still not be the kind of person when you walk in a room, everyone looks. So self-confidence is one thing, but that magnetism comes from self-love. So start working on issues from your past. And you know how you'll know what those issues are? It's the things that make you uncomfortable. Feelings are amazing. Human feelings are amazing because they're red flags. When you feel that, that's something I have to work on. So I do that now where I try to get myself in a position where I've got to work on something. Because when you're full of stress and anxiety and everything is bothering you, when you start working through those things, I'm at the point now where I have to look hard for something that's going to make me, realize I've got to work through it. I use it now like a game. It's fun because I know at the end of that, whatever that is that I'm going to get through, I'm going to get that energy back and I'm going to be able to focus it where it matters. Everybody I've ever worked with, and it's my 30th year working with presidents, prime ministers, athletes, sports teams, celebrities. And I'll tell you, the really successful people know how to use their mind. They know that they have to focus their mind power. They have to put it where it matters in their life. And they have to get rid of all the areas where they're wasting their energy. So it's important. Spring clean your life. Make room for the things that you want. So what's the first thing? To jumpstart the next phase of your life, you start making those little moves. Create the vibrant vision. Know exactly what you want. Be able to see it in your mind. Be able to feel it. Go to bed at night. Close your eyes and feel it. You're not lying in your bed anymore. You're lying in the bed of the hotel where you want to be. You're lying in the bed of your 10-bedroom mansion. Whatever it is, you put yourself in that situation. The best times are always first thing in the morning, last thing at night. Those are the times when you have better access to your subconscious. So create that vision, know exactly what you want, build the right foundation by getting rid of the shit that no longer serves you, whatever holds you down. Okay, this is a big one. And I see this one all the time too. People talk about confidence and people say to me, you seem like you have such strong confidence. I mean, obviously I can get on stage in front of 1,000 people, but sometimes going to a party with 50 people, I'm off in the corner somewhere. It's one of those things. I don't, Johnny Carson was that way. You could be in front of a camera in front of 30 million people, but at a dinner party with 16 people, he was, he was off in the corner doing card tricks. So it may look like, certain people have confidence, but everybody struggles with that, no matter who you are. I've done thousands of live performances, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes you still get that feeling, that nervous feeling, and it's good. It shows you that you're still alive. If every time you did something, there was no longer, everything was just monotone, there was no feeling, that wouldn't be any fun. So boost your confidence. And to do that, it's very easy. You need to know your strengths. You need to know your weaknesses. And you need to know your real strengths and weaknesses, because what we do is we go, I'm not as good as this person. And we take the ideal, right? We take the person and we compare ourselves to them. So for instance, somebody like, let's say, I'm trying to think of somebody like a golfer, Arnold Palmer, who's dead, but let's use him. Arnold Palmer would not be a great speaker probably, or a mentalist, or a stage performer. And I'm not a great golfer, but that doesn't mean that, he's a better person than me or I'm a better person than him. It means as a golfer, I'm lacking. And maybe as a speaker, somebody else may be lacking, but there's no two people that are equal, so that have the same experiences. So comparing yourself to anyone is never going to work, because comparison means there's only so much and I have to get mine before it's gone and we all fight for it. And that's bullshit. But that's what happens when you are competing for everything, comparing yourself instead of creation. That's the alternative, where you're creating what it is that you want. You're not taking it from anyone else. You're not fighting over it with anyone else. You're actually creating. So creation versus competition. But to do that, you got to boost your confidence, and you got to know what your strengths and weaknesses are, but you got to know, not the smokescreen version or the version that you wish was true or the version that you show to your neighbors. It has to be the real version of your strengths and weaknesses. Because what happens is, every time you do that, you become aware. There becomes space before you get sucked in. So somebody says something to you, they piss you off, and normally you get sucked right away into it, and you're yelling, you're arguing, and you're in a fight. But what happens when you practice these things is slowly you start to build up the ability to put space between you and the problem. So now something happens, and it seems like everything moves in slow motion. You now have time to not get pulled in, and you start to think. That's huge. That's 90% of the battle, awareness. Because once you know that your mind is doing that, you've almost won. So the next thing, tackle your obstacles. To do that, you have to understand what your blocks are, and you have to know how to move forward. So it's important, again, not to what the real blocks are, not the world is out to get me, God hates me, it's just my luck, and all the bullshit we say to ourselves, I hate my life, all those horrible affirmations. Make sure it's really true. They're really obstacles. It's not some bullshit that you've created inside your mind, which is what happens most of the time. If you're thinking about finances, there's only so many things people want to know usually: finances, love, family, that sort of thing, health. If you're thinking about your finances and you're thinking about, the fact that you never have enough money, that sort of thing, that's a huge mental construct. It's a paradigm that you've created for yourself, a belief. Like I was talking about my dad working at Ford his whole life. So if I went up to my dad and I said, Dad, the next car, instead of buying a Ford, why don't you buy a, Ferrari? That would not even, the idea of that would be so ridiculous to my dad. It would have been so ridiculous. It wouldn't even be in his realm of possibility. If you don't even believe that you can have the thing, you're never going to have it. You're always going to sabotage yourself out of it. So you have to be willing to do the work to get yourself to a place where you can not just appreciate it, but that you can allow it in your life. And I know you're saying, oh, that's ridiculous. How would I do that? I want it, so I would never do that. But you are doing it. You're doing it subconsciously. You're repelling the things that you want. You're sabotaging yourself. And a lot of the times you're bringing to you the things you don't want. Because what are you thinking about most? What are you concentrating on? Where your attention goes, energy flows. What you're looking at expands. So if you're thinking about the negative, I don't have enough, everything is horrible, guess what? That's what you're going to have. And you're going to have an abundance of it. You're going to get buried in it. So the best advice I could give is pay attention to your goals, celebrate your successes, and give yourself a break. I posted something today that I thought was really profound because it happens to me a lot. If you're resting, the post was something like, if you're resting and all you're doing is worried about not being productive, you're not resting. You've just wasted that time. So it's important. Pay attention to your goals, celebrate your successes, and let the shit go that doesn't serve you. Because you're walking around, you've got a giant bag of rocks on your back, and you have no idea why you're carrying it. All you got to do is set it down. And It makes the change process easier. The process, though, is important. It's more important than the destination. It's more important than the transformation, because the process, you've got to understand the theory. You've got to put the theory into practice. Those are two big differences, like I said. Otherwise, everything I talk about is theory. Even though it's worked for me, it's worked for my clients, it's worked for so many people I know. If you don't try it, it's only theory. You're never, ever, ever going to do it. So the real goal in what I teach you is it should inspire you. It should empower you. You should be able to see other people and live vicariously through them and see what they've done in their life and see the giant changes that they've made. I was full of stress and anxiety my entire life. I didn't know why. No matter where I was in the world, I had a ton of weight on my chest, and I just never knew why. Money, I didn't come from money, and my parents, middle class, but I was a millionaire by my 21st birthday, not bragging, but only because I changed my outlook on money. Because if you don't do that, you're never going to have it. So enjoy the process. That's what makes the difference between it being theory and it actually being something that you're putting into practice. Do the work. Once you do the first couple of steps, your life will start to change. That will be the fuel. It will give you that rush of electric energy in your body, and that will push you. It'll motivate you. It'll fuel you to go forward. Another thing that's important is to find yourself an accountability partner. Make yourself accountable to someone. A friend, a family member, someone where if you want to do this with someone else, it makes it so much easier to have an accountability partner, somebody you can talk to. That's why this group is here. I mean, that's kind of what we are. Feel free to post, feel free to ask questions, feel free to make us your accountability partner. But it's so much easier when you have somebody behind you, have somebody with you. Keep a journal or a notebook. Write down the things you're satisfied, you are thankful for every day. Because when you do that, you get more things to be thankful for. The feeling of being grateful creates more things to be grateful for. This is how the mind works. Your automatic success mechanism, like in psycho-cybernetics, we have inside us this success mechanism that will work automatically if it's fed the right information. So confirm your commitment. As you begin this process, you have to know that your ideas, your dreams, your goals, they have such a valuable place in your life, but they're only as good as your commitment is to reaching them. Otherwise, they're daydreams. They are wishful thinking, and they are always going to be just out of your reach. And that creates this scenario where you're always chasing something, and that thing you think will make you happy. So you're constantly eluded by happiness. It's slowly or slightly in front of you, and you can never, it's like the dog who's in the race and they've got the bone, tied in front of him, and so he's just running. He's never going to be able to catch it. That's the situation we have. So keep a journal or a notebook. Write down the things you're grateful for. Write down where you see yourself in a year. But if you do that, write it like it's happening to you now. I am wealthy. I am this. I have this. I did this. I am doing this. Not I want this. I need this. It's I have this. I have this. I've manifested this. It's just not here in physical form yet, but this is mine. You have to really feel that. Because again, you're tricking your mind. That's the only way you're going to change your subconscious. You've got to get in there and do it. So we're going to have to trick it. Otherwise, you're going to go through your whole life without making any changes. Man's mind is stretched to a new idea. And when it is, it never goes back to the original shape. Once you have awoken, once you have that feeling, you can never go back. The door is open. You've just got to walk through. So this is the agreement. I'm going to read this to you. This is an agreement that I wrote, an agreement to transform my life. And I think you could do this too. So if you have your journal, you have your piece of paper, you're going to write this. I, and then your name, am committed to transforming my life. I understand I will get out of the process as much as I put into it. And that's up to me to create my own value from each of the assignments. And I'm going to be giving these to you every time we go live. I'll try to give you, one or two things you can do, and none of them will be more than 10, 20 minutes. I acknowledge a lot will be asked of me. I am willing to experiment with changing my behavior, trying new things, reassessing the assumptions and the perceptions that I hold, setting goals that are bigger, removing sources of stress in my life, and starting to redesign the way I spend my time. I agree to complete these assignments, do the best of my ability, and to take action on whatever my dream is. Important. I will be honest with myself when the going gets tough. I will ask for support when I need it. And above all else, I will relax. I will take time and I will enjoy the process. So go back, rewatch this, write that down for yourself. And once you've written it, now you can read it every day. Read it at least once, twice, 10 times, whatever it is. Read that. The intention is the thing. Without intention, nothing is going to happen. Intention, desire, that's the spark that makes things happen. You've got to have the intention. So this is a great way to light that fire again inside you. Until someone is completely committed, there's always that hesitancy. And that's what happens when I'm not all the way in, maybe. You have that chance then to draw back, and you have that chance to be ineffective. And Tony Robbins always says, if you want to take the island, burn the boats. So there's no chance of escape. That's exactly what we're talking about here. There is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas. It kills so many plans. The moment one definitely, completely commits oneself, things begin to happen. All sorts of things start to occur. Synchronicities happen. Things appear. Things that you didn't think about before. A whole stream of events start to come from that decision that you made. And all these things start to raise in your favor. Unforeseen incidents and circumstances. People you didn't know all of a sudden are in your reality. People are there to help. There's assistance. And at no time could you ever have dreamt of that coming your way. That's what happens when you let it go. You decide what you want. You put everything into it. You can bring that up, write it down every day, what it is that you have. Again, write it like you have it. And then let it go. Don't worry about how you're going to get it. You are welcome. Lynn, welcome. I would have probably attacked anything that was said. I appreciate that. Yeah. Trust me, I understand. The biggest thing that will help you is awareness. And it's almost the battle. It's 90%. The moment you realize that your mind is doing it, you've won. Because what happens, most people, they get sucked in, they don't realize. A week, a month, a year, a lifetime later, they realize, if they're lucky. Some people go through their entire life, they're triggered constantly. They fight, argue, yell, negative, and they live and die, and they never know there's anything else. So awareness is big. I always say, name the voice in your head. Name the voice in your head. I name mine Carl. And now if the voice in my head starts trying to get worried about something and, oh my God, this is going to happen. And why did this happen? I just laugh about it. And I say, there goes Carl again. And that stupid bit of joking diffuses the situation. It takes all of the power out of the situation. So that awareness is everything. That's all you're practicing on. You're driving in the car. Someone in front of you is driving too slow, whatever. You're pissed about it. Let it go. Relax, release, R&R all the time. Because every time you release, you gain more time next time. You've just gained a fraction of a second. And eventually what's going to happen, and I tell you from personal experience, something will happen in front of you. And instead of getting sucked into it, it will feel like everything slows down and you pull back and you now look at the situation without getting upset and you decide what needs to be done, what you can do. And you go from it from you are attacking the problem from a non-emotional place. You're not coming at it with, I'm angry, how dare you, blah, 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 blah. You're looking at it and going, okay, can I do anything about this? Do I need to do anything about this? Is it worth my peace? You're able to answer all these questions in your mind in what seems like time slowed way down. And that's what happens from awareness. It gives you more and more and more time to create space between you and whatever is happening. And shit will happen. This is life. People will be injured. People will die. Things will happen to you. You'll lose jobs. You'll lose, pets. Things happen. This positive thinking, all of this crap, it doesn't create a perfect life. The idea is how to deal with the things that happen. That's what you have to do. So that's what happens when you start taking control of your subconscious. Because no matter what anyone else says, positive thinking, all of that is great, but it only works on top of getting in there and working on the subconscious. Otherwise, you're just putting, Band-Aids on gunshot wounds. It does not work. You're just slowly, you're pushing it down. And eventually that's going to blow up. So awareness, super, super important. If you're watching this later, and you're not watching it live, make sure if you have a question or a comment, you can drop it still in the comment section, or send me a direct message, something that's more private and you want me to cover, that's fine too. I'll be back in a couple of days. We're going to give you some more tips on how to get started, but make it your goal to start tomorrow morning. And I don't care what you do. Start 5 minutes of meditation. Do anything, but anything you can do to get started. You've got to stop putting it off, because eventually one day there will be no more time. But that's not today. You've got the ability to start making these changes. It's the best thing I've ever done. It's changed the lives of the people that we work with. It's changed the lives of celebrities and people that have hired us. It is something that you can do. You can do it very quickly. You can make huge amounts of changes in 10 minutes, 20 minutes a day. That's nothing. I mean, think about the time you spend watching Netflix or surfing the internet, falling down the YouTube rabbit hole. If you would just take 20 minutes a day for yourself, it would change everything. It really, really would. I promise you. So if you have not joined our Facebook community, you have got to do that. You should definitely do it. We are like-minded people. We are banded together, and we are supporting. We are empowering each other to reach our goals. We're being those accountability partners for each other. We're helping our friends, our family members, make it to the places that they want to go. We're supporting them. So join us. It's the Students of Self-Empowerment, and that's what we are. We're empowering ourselves. We're empowering each other to take to unlock and unleash the untapped powers of our mind. We are born with the most amazing supercomputer ever invented. We have no idea how it works. We walk around through our life completely oblivious with no manual on how to operate this thing. You have the most life transformative device inside you. You just don't know how to use it. You can change everything, and you can do it in 10 minutes a day. Start tomorrow. If you've not grabbed a copy of my new book, this is the time. 5 Steps to the Perfect Mindset. Also a great way to get started. Take 1 step a day. Take 1 step a week. It's free. No cost to you. I want you to have it as my gift. I'm going to teach you about this power. You can shift your limitations. You can move into where you want to be with abundance and happiness and health and success. Everything that you want can be yours, should be yours. Life is not supposed to be difficult. You see people, you have to suffer. That's not true. So many people have suffered. They've worked themselves to the bone and they end up with nothing. So it doesn't always work that way. Life is not supposed to be difficult. It's not supposed to be hard. Ty, I think we all have unlimited potential in many ways. To empower one another is to release those potentials with each other more. Absolutely. And that's what we're here for. We're not here to rob and steal from each other. We're not here to hate everyone else. We're not here to white versus black, gay versus straight, man versus woman. That's all bullshit that humankind has created, to this idea of we're all separate from each other. We are here to lift each other up. We're here to, we're not here to steal from somebody else, to take from them. We're here to help each other. that is what makes everything change. It makes, we're all in it together instead of one, each out for our own thing, which is, you know, the way most people do it. Now, if you have not taken a look at my website, is that website WEBB, like my name? I don't know. But on BrentWebb.com, you'll find all sorts of things, including my new courses, which Mind Power for Kids. If we could get to our kids, imagine if we could get to our kids before they get pushed into school, before they get they're forced to conform, they're in rows of desks, they're told to be like everyone else, and their individuality and their ability to dream and create is killed. And as you grow up, you are programmed by society and by your teachers and your parents, whatever it is they want. You have your parent, you didn't choose your religion, you didn't choose your name, you didn't choose anything. That is all drilled into you. You're programmed with that information, but you can break it. So I've been teaching the top 2% how to get in there and change their mind. But I realized a couple of years ago, that's the wrong people. These are the wealthy people. These are the successful people. These are the 2%. They don't need this information. The kids do. The parents need to give it to the kids. They would change our future. We're going down the wrong road here, but we could change it if we could get in there and we could change the belief patterns of our kids. So Mind Power for Kids, it's available on my website, BrentWebb.com. Go and take a look and see for yourself. Activate, believe, create. It's all there. What else do we have here? If we are spirit soul, then that transparency in itself should be known to the point where racism should absolutely. But look, there are places in the world where not only is racism prevalent, but I mean, you can be killed for being gay. Women aren't allowed to, you know, expose their skin. I mean, it's ridiculous. We are so many parts of the world are so far behind, including America. We have to realize it's all an illusion. We're not separate. We are one. We are one mass consciousness, because there's our individual consciousness. Each one of us has our own mind. Did you ever do something where you decide you have no idea how you're going to accomplish something? So you think about it, you put that in your mind, and the next morning you wake up and all of a sudden, somehow overnight, you've gotten that idea. That's because not only is there your consciousness, we each have an individual consciousness, but we're also connected to the universal consciousness. That's the consciousness of every person that's ever lived, that's living now. And it's where you see famous artists say, I don't know where I got the idea for the painting. It just came to me. Songwriters, Lionel Richie used to say, I have no idea. I would sit down and it would just pour through me. I would just write it down. They're connected. They have got that ability to go into the mass universal consciousness. And so many people are afraid of that. That's what meditation does. It gives you that ability to sit silently with yourself and make that connection. So when you can get past your individual conscious and get to the super conscious, the universal consciousness, you can actually go to bed at night. You can put in your order. You can type it into the search engine of your mind. You can wake up in the morning and you can have the information. Your computer will search that overnight. And it's true. This is not BS. It's something you can do, but you have to get control of your mind. Right now, your mind is controlling you. And so many people don't believe it's possible to get in there and change things, but you definitely can. So website, BrentWebb.com. If you're interested in any of my coaching, my courses, my programs, check them out, BrentWebb.com. You can always send me an email message or one of my staff there. You'll also get some information on, like I said, Mind Power for Kids. It's the new online mentorship program. It goes for 1 year. It's the only program in the world that I offer a money-back guarantee plus $1,000. If you do this program, you make all the moves for the year, and you do not think it's the best thing you've ever done, I will give you your money back and $1,000 cash. That is how sure I am that it works. Everybody who's gone through this program has succeeded. If you do the work, it works. So that's why I can make that offer. If you want some more information, go to BrentWebb.com. Check out Mind Power for Kids. So all I got for you today. Thanks for being around, guys. Thanks, Ty. I appreciate it. Thanks. Who else was on there? Lynn, you were there as well. Thanks, Lynn. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys real soon. Just remember, don't worry. Be happy. Feel good. And I'll see you soon. Have a good Sunday.